Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to attempt to build an orbital strike cannon in Trailmakers. Now, what I want this thing to be able to accomplish is to be able to hover at a designated altitude, and then precisely be able to aim in any direction on the ground, and then fire a high velocity and highly accurate projectile to the ground and destroy whatever target I aim at. So that's the goal. Let's see how difficult it is to get there. Okay, I feel like the seat choice is not important for this. We're probably going to enclose the seat entirely. So I'm gonna go with the diving bell because it just has good connections all around. Top, bottom, front, back, left, right. Now, the thing I've been thinking about before recording is the best way to have it hover at a designated altitude. The easiest way I can think of is it goes up until it hits a certain altitude, and then it has speed sensors preventing it from going down. This is going to have an unintended side effect where it is going to go above the designated altitude until it stops its upward velocity, and then it's going to hover at wherever its apex of that velocity is, which is not actually going to be the designated altitude that I set, but maybe that doesn't matter. The bigger thing other than that is giving it stable aiming and a precise high velocity cannon. It's been a while since I've done like ultra high bullet speed, but I'll have to refigure out the optimal piston settings to push the bullets faster. So this is probably, if I'm going to be using this seat, this is probably going to have to be the dimensions. Okay, that's looking realistic. Okay, so for an orbital cannon, we want this thing to be able to aim up, down, left, right, and then rotate. We do need it to rotate as well. I guess just aim and rotate. I mean, aim in one axis, and then if we can just rotate it, that gives us all we need. The rotation on the axis is going to be interesting. Ooh, you know what I might be able to use? Actually, I don't even know where the part is. Is it in here? It is. The truss block. I have not used this. The only problem with the truss blocks is they only go in a straight line. So doing like a ring around this, well, I mean, I guess the truss blocks can just go to the ring, whatever the ring is gonna be. Okay, there we go. I think that looks good. That looks good, I like it. Kind of feel like having another ring. Okay, so now as far as elevation goes, I'm thinking probably gimbal jets make the most sense for this thing. Okay, let's see if these for a 16 are enough. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, we have to adjust some settings. I didn't put them on hold position. All right, so now there we go. You can see that holds the position. All right, I will put some gyro stabilizers as well. I feel like it needs to be longer. I'm probably just gonna make it unnecessarily heavy, but I think it needs a little bit more texture on it. Something like that. I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, so now some gyro stabilizers. I think just on the outside here, on all four sides, should keep me nice and should keep the ring nice and steady, which then gives me my stable pivot points to aim the cannon from. All right, now we need speed sensor. So for this, it's not gonna be like a hovercraft where I wanna be able to go up and down necessarily. For this, I want it to just stay at whatever the designated altitude is. So I think all I really gotta do is hook a speed sensor into the gimbal thrusters. I don't think I need an altitude sensor as well. So if we're below 100 meters, it is going to trigger all of the gimbal jets. So we will go flying up. Then if we start falling, it'll also trigger all of the gimbal jets. So then once we get up, we cannot come back down. So this should do it. Hands free. We get up to 100 meters. Let me take a look. There we go. And then look at that. Now we stay there. This isn't as stable as I want it to be. Oh, you know what? I need to actually change the speed of that by a lot. That's way too fast. And I realized a big flaw with my system here is now when I backspace to return, it automatically goes up in the air. So I can't enter build mode. I need to now not have these things go into these things. Instead, I'm going to have this logic gate. This logic gate will output to all of the gimbal thrusters. And then I will have this OR gate. This OR gate will receive a signal from either the altitude sensor or the speed sensor, and it will send a output to the AND gate. And then I think it should work that if I have my input, which is my toggle essentially, into the AND gate, it should not be active unless I have that toggle on. All right, good. So now when I press the toggle, all right, I set the toggle to number 1. When I press number 1, it doesn't work. So I always have this issue for some reason with logic gates. So I find that the easiest workaround for me is instead to just use another logic gate. So now this logic gate is gonna give my toggle output, and that goes into the AND gate as well. So now it works. For some reason, the internal control of the AND gate doesn't work as one of the ANDs for me for some reason. So I just got to use another logic gate and then it works. So now now I can turn it off. That was the main thing. And then also when I respawn, it's not going to take off on me. But one of the things I forgot to do was adjust the speed settings on this. So I'm going to go like 0.05. All right, let's see how that feels. Okay. That seems more reasonable. All right, but one thing we don't have is rotation. I don't know how to best achieve rotation. One of the things I'm thinking is putting a gyro as close as I can to the center. Now, this should not interfere because it's only rotating the actual weapon on this axis back and forth this way. So this should be fine right here. And that seems to work. So this has a floaty reaction right now. So if I tap D, this is what happens. You can see that it moves, but then it keeps moving. What if I want it to move and then stop immediately? So now I believe I'm going to need a speed sensor facing left and a speed sensor facing right. So now if I press A or D, this logic gate will output. So this is our signal that we are doing turning. So I want to essentially invert this signal. This speed sensor is going to detect when we are rotating clockwise, which means that in order for it to counter that motion, it has to rotate counterclockwise, which is green. So we're gonna do that one goes to this AND logic gate, which means this AND logic gate outputs a positive signal. So then this one should go to the other logic gate, which outputs a negative signal to counteract the other direction, to go clockwise. So I think I need another altitude sensor on, but this is going to be just a constant output. So it's just always going to be on because the altitude is set to trigger above -500. And then we use an XOR gate output if only one input is not 0. So if this output from the altitude sensor goes into the XOR gate, that input is not 0. So it's going to turn on. Now my A and D buttons are also going to go into this. And when I'm not pressing anything, it is going to be 0, which means that this is going to be on. So then only when I press A and D, then both inputs are not 0, turning this logic gate off, and this logic gate goes to both AND gates, which will then make those non-functional, which overrides the speed sensor. So now I think I have a self-correction for rotation built in. Let's see if that concept works. I'm going to rotate counterclockwise, and then I'm going to release the button in 3, 2, 1, release. That appeared to not work as intended at all. I know why it didn't work as intended. I forgot one crucial aspect. These logic gates actually have to be outputting to the gyros. All right, it's a little shaky. I might want to adjust the speed sensors to be a little bit above 0. But all right, rotating counterclockwise and then release. You know, it's not perfect. I might be able to make it better. So now instead of having an input directly into the gyros for A and D, I'm going to put the gyro strength on maximum, which means they're going to respawn very fast. But now I'm going to have another logic gate that is an A and D output going into the gyros. However, the percentage of output is going to be like 0.2. So does that work? That does. Oh, I think this is functioning exactly as I want it. I want it to be even less though. And let's also adjust the speed sensors to be 0.1. So it hopefully be, see, that's the shakiness I'm worried about. But now I believe if I turn, That's a little bit too fast still. But then when I let go, look at that. Instant stopping now. Because now the correction from the speed sensors is at maximum strength on the gyros, but my input for turning is slower, so we're not going to be spinning around super fast. All right, this is coming together piece by piece, one function at a time. This output, however, I want even less, 0.05 maybe. And then these speed sensors are still, they're getting triggered before I want them to. What about 1 kilometer an hour? All right, there we go. But now, how does it feel when it comes to rotation? Rotate, stop. Oh, that's a problem. See, now there's too much of a buffer, so it actually keeps rotating. You know what? As an experiment, let's just disconnect the speed sensors, and maybe the gyros having that much strength by themselves, maybe they're actually going to help stabilize our rotation. Let's see. All right, rotate left, stop. It still floats. We were so close. This might be better. I think this is going to be easier to deal with, to be honest. All right, now we've got the ring. We've got the aiming. Now we need a cannon that actually fires a projectile. So I'm going to maybe perhaps triple piston this up, and we just got to figure out what the piston settings are going to be. Now, if I remember correctly, they got to be on -100 for the maximum speed. And then I believe the best cannon we can use is the tank cannon. Actually launches a pretty cool projectile. And then I believe the cannon itself needs a delay. I don't know what it is. Let's go with 0.02. All right, let's see how that feels as far as the strength of the cannon goes. Pew! I mean, that looks pretty good. Pew! Is there a way to get a camera in line with that? It would be so cool to put a camera right in front, but I don't think that's possible unless I had some complicated pistons thing going on. But no, still, that wouldn't really work. Okay, I don't do this often. It's a very special occasion, but I'm gonna see if I can figure out piston glitching. Oh, that didn't work. All right, this piston glitching is not working, as you can see. I was hoping that having these pistons, this would contract in that direction, this would contract in that direction, and it would glitch it into this, but I think because there's also other pistons here, it's actually just not working. So maybe the best case, the best thing we can do is just put a camera on like here somewhere. That actually that looks relatively centered. It's I know it's technically not, but oh, what's going on? Why is it shaky though? Woo! It's like, it's kind of not terrible. It's not the most accurate. It's a little bit more wobbly than I want it to be. But here we go, number 3. That looks pretty close to me. But what's going on? It looks like our stabilizers are not strong enough to counteract. Yeah, they're not strong enough to counteract the weight movement. All right, it's a little bit better. It's still slightly shaky, but I feel like our aim is pretty good now. Okay, now unfortunately, these antennas I added to the back of this thing are actually getting in the way and allowing me to not aim as far as I want to be able to aim. I want to be able to aim like pretty much all the way, like right there. I kind of want our directional stability. So we're drifting right now because of recoil. I want to be able to move myself across like orbit pretty much, station myself at a spot in the sky. And because right now I have no movement capabilities. All right, I got an idea for stability. I need to know how much weight is down here because I need to counteract that weight up here. That is why I'm actually jerky, is because the gyros are constantly trying to correct our weight. Oh, this is better. Right? Maybe not. I think I need to deal with my thrust issues. And in order to do that, I'm probably going to have to remove those and replace them with something I can actually attach thrusters to. Okay, I now have the same logic that I was doing for the turning. I now have repurposed that to have forward, back, left, right, strafing in all directions. So you can see I've got thrusters facing in all these different directions. So when I press forward, you can see that the ones that are facing forward turn off. And when I release forward, you can see they turn on to try to hold me in position now. So I think it'll be a little bit more obvious when I am in the camera mode. So I'll press backwards. You can see I start moving backwards, and then I release, and you can see it slows down, and now I am stable in place. I can move left and right, and it tries to stop me as I'm stable in place. So I could just go like straight over like this. Apparently the reticle doesn't like being perfectly vertical. There we go. And then I can use now, I change the controls to shift and control to aim up and down. And now I have the ability not only to aim left and right, but I could also strafe as well. There we go. So I am going to try to adjust this aiming reticle so that it is more in line with where I end up hitting. Also, can I get another reticle without having like a massive gun? Oh, actually I might like that one better. Yeah, I think I like the blaster reticle better. It's less obstructive. So now my solution to the aiming, I hope this is going to work, is I'm actually going to put a steering hinge, and then the blaster is going to go on the steering hinge, and then that steering hinge is going to be angled 5 degrees. You can see that blaster is at a slight angle upwards because I kept hitting above my target. All right, now let's see how this feels. Aiming at the 3. Oh, the angle is too much. Okay. I also forgot to turn the blaster off. What if I aim up more? It might be different. Oh, it's even worse. It's way off now. All right, if 5 degrees is too much, let's try a trick that the comments have brought to my attention. I hope it actually works. I'm going to have yet another altitude sensor, but this altitude sensor is now going to have an output of like 0.2. So hopefully when we program that to go into the steering hinge, it's going to be 0.2 of 5%. So let's see. Does that look like less than 5%? Maybe. And let's aim right there. Well, it's definitely not, it's definitely different. Let's aim at the 3. I really gotta turn the blaster off. That's pretty accurate. It seems like it does need to aim a little bit more up. All right, let's go to 0.5. All right, there's the 3. That's looking more accurate. How about at a distance? That's seeming pretty good. All right, the annoying thing is that it's landing slightly left of the reticle, but I don't think I could do much about that. All right, because this is an orbital cannon, I'm gonna change the field of view to like 30 degrees on the camera, because I think theoretically that means I should be more zoomed in. Oh yeah. Oh boy, but now my reticle is actually like too big. Now the problem with these angles is it's impossible to be 100% accurate because that angle is going to have a much bigger or smaller effect the longer the distance is and the shorter the distance is. It's not going to be always the same. But it's looking okay there. Let's aim closer, see what happens. All right, aiming at the 3. Why are we doing this rocking? Oh, see, closer, it actually looks great. Here, let's aim over at this thing. Right onto the corner. That looks great. It really is just at like the farther distance. Can we aim up that high? We cannot. We're definitely gonna need more altitude on this thing, which will actually affect our aim as well. All right, I'm gonna try to put some more gyro stabilizers in hopes that we're gonna get some more stability. All right, and let's finally increase the total altitude. So let's go from 100. Let's go up to 500, 300 meters. 300. So now all the angles I set up for my aiming are going to not apply anymore. All right, let's try the 3. I do feel a little bit less shaky with the extra gyros. You know what? Not too bad. Not too bad. What about further up? Let's aim for the number 4 right there. That's not too bad. You know, I feel like everywhere I'm aiming, I'm at least getting splash damage, right? Look, I can even like start going upside down like this. What is this even gonna feel like aiming? This is weird, but I'm capable of doing this. Now my left and right are reversed. All right, number 4. Not as good upside down. I think I pretty much got the functionality down. So let's paint this thing up. Let's bring it over land, and let's actually aim for some real targets like explosive barrels and stuff. I just realized that at this particular angle, it really looks like a face. the gyros are eyes, and this whole thing is like a mouth, and you even got like the form of the face. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, I painted it up. I wanted to add some more like fun details to this thing, but I'm reaching the complexity limit and the time limit because I've been building this thing for a while now. All right, so here it is. I put it all the way up to 500 meters this time. This is what it looks like from, let's actually look at it from the ground perspective. Let's fly all the way to the ground. So here's some explosive barrels I'm going to be aiming at. Whoa, that is way farther looking than I expected it to. We're gonna see what that's gonna be like from up there. All right, let's go ahead and jump up there. Here it is. Let's get into the camera. Where's my reticle? Man, I wish the reticle was a little bit further away, but I don't think I can do anything about that really. That's looking pretty centered on my reticle. Let's see how the aim is. 3, 2, 1. We're so far away that the barrels don't explode. But that was the directest of hits. We're actually too far away. All right, let's aim at that one now. Look at that. Yeah, those barrels are definitely getting hit. Let's aim at the farthest barrel I can visibly see. I think there's one over there, but we can't actually see it. However, we can see this one right here. So I'm just gonna put it in the reticle. I feel like I'm gonna fall short this time just because of like the arch and gravity, but let's see what happens. All right, that definitely falls short. We do got to account for bullet drop, unfortunately. But that would have exploded it right there. Man, I wish we could see the barrels explode. All right, I might have to reduce it back down to 300 meters, but this was a great test of 500 meters. Okay, let's aim for that X right there. All right, not too bad, not too bad. The more horizontal we are, the worse it is. I could, however, use my thrust to very slowly and gradually adjust myself to be over this target, in which case, aiming at it. Oh, that actually was more accurate than I was expecting. It didn't look like it was going to be accurate at all. But here, now that we've actually stopped, there we go. And yeah, that is much more direct. But let's do a 300-meter run and see if we can actually get explosions from barrels. It's not like I'm not seeing an explosion from the actual ammo anyway. Yeah, 500 was a little too high. There it is. Going up into the sky. I wanted to look at it from the ground perspective as it ascends. And I also want to see where it stops from the ground perspective. Oh, there we go. All right, so it just stopped. You think this is going to be close enough? Let's find out. Oh man, the barrels do not explode apparently at like you have to get really close to them to see the explosion. Well, let's see if the blue barrels are impacted at all. Man, the physics. So if you've been watching the channel for a long time, you may remember some old experiments with spawning barrels in and making them fly all over the place. There's a cone of physics, not a cone, a sphere of physics around the player. And when the barrels flew through the air and they reach the horizon of that sphere, they actually freeze. They just suddenly freeze in midair. Physics stops applying to them. And then as your character moves closer to the barrel, they actually start continuing to fly through the air. So unfortunately, the barrels are outside of my cone of influence right now. And that means that they aren't affected by me, unfortunately. Wait, I have the solution. Don't worry, guys. I thought of everything. Just now I thought of every single thing. Like Doctor Strange. I've seen all possibilities. We spawn in another creation. That is our new target. And it's gonna be a small creation too. Look at this little car. Look at this little car. This little car is gonna go that way. Goodbye. All right, we have reached altitude. Little car is down there looking very little, but our camera zooms in slightly. So now we should be able to see destruction. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Activate orbital strike. And it's gone. It is little pieces now. All right, finally, some satisfaction, some results, some payoff for what I've spent so long tuning and building from scratch. My very own orbital strike cannon and Trailmakers. Finally. Can we even hit that? There we go. All right, well, I am actually really happy with this. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if there's anything else you'd like to see in Trailmakers, or any other games on the channel. Definitely leave those comments, or make sure you join the Discord. There's also a video idea suggestion channel in my Discord that I do peruse on occasion. If you guys enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy some more that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.